If you're thinking about getting an auto top-up unit, or if you have an auto top-up unit that you're thinking of upgrading, then this video is for you. We're going to look at why you should have an auto top-up and which type you should have. So for those of you watching this video who already have an auto top-up unit and you're looking to upgrade, then bear with me for just a minute. For those of you looking to get an auto top-up, briefly, let's tell you what they are. They are simply a piece of equipment that keeps your water level stable and exactly where you want it to be. Most of them work off of some kind of sensor that understands where your water level is, and when it drops below where it needs to be, will turn a pump on that normally sits in a reservoir of water outside your aquarium and brings it back up to where it should be before it turns the pump back off again.
Now, it's really important, especially in the marine and the reef keeping world, to keep the water level where it is, to keep that stability, mainly because of parameters and especially your salinity. When the water evaporates, the fresh water will evaporate, but the salt will stay in the water. So if you don't top up that fresh water, your salinity will just keep creeping up as well as your water level dropping. So it really is an important bit of kit within the reef and marine hobby.
Yep, and even in the freshwater hobby, it's simply a good bit of kit to save you time and effort. So if you don't have an auto top up, yes, you're going to have your water level swimming, whether that's salinity or other parameters, but you're also going to have to manually top up. And so if it makes it more enjoyable to be around your aquarium because you're not doing so much work, that's a win. If it means you kind of don't get these varying lines of limescale or scum on your glass, that's great. Or if you simply, like one of our display aquariums here, need your water to stay at a certain level so that it looks great, then an auto top-up is really one of those bits of equipment that you want in your arsenal. Now, they pretty much all use sensors to decide on the water level and make sure that stays where it needs to be. But where they start to be a bit different is a type of sensor they use, and that is what we've decided to use to separate the products for the sake of this video. So the first set we're going to look at are those units that use very simple float switches.
There's quite an array of different float switch auto top-ups, some that use a single float switch, some that use two, and some that even use three. And those float switches are used in different ways as redundancy, but also to protect your equipment as well as to stop your aquarium from overfilling.
Yeah, so they all work in a very basic way. There is literally a float that goes up when your water level is at the right level, and when it drops down, it triggers a pump to switch on and fill it up until the float is back where it should be. Now, some of them come with pumps that are connected and they would sit in that reservoir of fresh water, and others come with just a socket that you can plug your own pump into. And as Steve said, some have an extra float switch, which is basically a safety net, because the last thing you want is a load of that water going into your aquarium, changing your parameters or flooding your aquarium. Whereas others come with maybe two or even in some cases three, and it allows you to set both a minimum and a maximum level as well. So you might, as Steve said, want to stop your sump going down to a certain level or your reservoir going down to a certain level, and it makes sure that you don't run equipment dry. Now, in terms of affordability, these generally are at the lower end. So if you're looking to get into an auto top-up without spending too much money, then these are certainly for you. They're very easy to set up.
Yeah.
They don't have any tech on them really, so they're easy to set up straight out the box. And although they are a relatively simple bit of kit, that often translates into reliability. Now, obviously pumps fail, and if you're buying at a certain price point, you can expect more failures than others. But really, there's not a lot of equipment to go wrong.
No, I mean, I've had one of these TMC standard models, and I think it lasted me probably 5 years, and I just upgraded. It didn't stop working, I just changed it. But another great thing with all of these now, over the years, they pretty much all come with magnet mounts. They all come with a few extra little bits in them as well. So even though they are affordable, you still get a few little extras with them that you didn't used to.
Yeah, so I guess the next thing is, if these are good and they work, then why would you go for something different? So let's take a look at the next step of ATOs, and they are the ones that use sensors. So these are all auto top-up units that use sensors to measure the water level. Now, most of them will use an optical sensor, which is obviously measuring the amount of light that's coming into that sensor. And when that changes based on water level, it knows whether to turn a pump on or off. And there is also a version that come with conductivity sensors, such as this Red Sea ATO. Now, that measures the conductivity between two probes when it's under salt water, which is different to when it's in air. But obviously, it being different in salt water means there is a limitation that these can only be used in marine or reef aquariums.
The majority of these auto top-ups, as well as the sensors, use a secondary or redundancy as well with a float switch. So the majority of them will use a float switch to, if there's a problem with the sensor, the conductivity or the IR, then the float switch will step in. But also you can use it so you don't overtop. So you won't overtop up your aquarium because it will shut off the pump.
Yep, a minute max.
Yeah. So the other great thing about all of these now, they're nearly all magnet mounted. Whereas in the past, you would get suction cups and other ways hangers and things like that. But now it means they're a lot more versatile and you can really place them where you want them to get the right water level.
Yes, it's worth, if you're looking at one of these pumps on our website or you've been shopping around and you notice that you like it, it's worth checking whether the mount is suitable for your type of aquarium. And if the magnet isn't, then whether it's got a backup. Now, this is an example of one of these optical sensors, and you'll see this one has actually got 2 points. So there is obviously one that measures the water level, and then a secondary measurement, which in some units is used to turn the pump off, and in other units, as Steve has mentioned, it's to do with a backup. But these aren't the only sensors on these units. Now, a lot of them come with obviously water detection, but also there's some extra benefits to using them. One of the most beneficial of these is leak detection. So a couple of them will have a leak detector that will alert you via either an audible sound or via an alert via an app, which this Red Sea one has. And obviously it can give you a heads up if there's a leak. Others have temperature sensors, which means that you can obviously monitor the temperature of your aquarium. Again, if it's on an app, that's very beneficial. And others like this smart Wave Reef Smart ATO is actually designed with 3 sensors, and really it's focused on people who want to use, instead of a reservoir of water where your pump would sit, it actually would connect directly to your RO machine. And it means that can pump straight in.
Yeah, there's also things like this little auto aqua at the front there, which is designed for like a hang on the back aquarium, like a nano aquarium, and it has a hang on the back, but the pump is actually built into the unit, which is really nice, and it can draw the water up. So they really do make them for every application now.
Yeah,
so
and
you can
every
use
aquarium
them
size.
for
Yeah, it comes to pumps. Yes, this one has a pump built in, but most of them don't have it built in, but come along with a pump. So that is normally connected up via a hose to your reservoir. We'll often have an anti-siphon or a pre-filter attached. And these pumps tend to come in 2 forms. One is kind of like a standard DC impeller pump that basically
Very similar to this one.
just pushes water into the aquarium, and they normally come with a pretty good head height. Others are a small kind of metering pump that draw from the bottom and run on very low voltage, but still have that head height, which obviously has its benefits. And then there are a couple of units on the market that just come with a plug socket, and you plug your own pump into that. And obviously you can decide up to a certain wattage, depending on the model, exactly how quickly you want to get your water to the aquarium.
The other great thing about most of these manufacturers is that if they do come with a separate pump, they're normally sold as a spare part. So if there ever is an issue, you can get hold of the spare parts for these. So it means that the longevity of them really is extended because you can replace the parts individually.
Now, in terms of setup and ease of use, they're not too dissimilar to float switch models, but they do tend to be more accurate. And in turn, as you go on, they tend to be easier to use and maintain, particularly if you're using the tech-heavy ones, particularly the Red Sea one with an app. That will tell you how much water is being used, so you can monitor that. It will also tell you when your reservoir is about to run out, so you don't actually run the pump dry or you don't run out of water. So in terms of day-to-day use, they're pretty good. Warranty-wise, there's kind of a bit of everything in here. Again, we'll put the links in the description below, but you're looking at anything from 1 year up to, I think the new Tunzi has a
Like
5-year
5 years,
warranty.
yeah.
So if that's important to you, then maybe that will sway which one you go for. And in terms of affordability, there's everything here from, a little bit more than the basic float switch models, all the way up to relatively expensive for an auto top-up. But in our opinion, it is an important part of your arsenal in terms of equipment.
I think with reef and marine systems especially, it's an essential bit of kit really. I mean, freshwater not so much, it makes things a lot easier, but for marine and reef, it's up there with you need it really.
Yeah. Now, I appreciate we haven't gone into the details of each individual unit, but if there's a video that you want to see in terms of setup or a deeper dive, closer look type video of any of these, make sure you comment down below. But we will leave a link in the description of this video to take you to our auto top-up page, and from there you can access our customer support team who would be more than happy to assist you or guide you on your journey to buying an auto top-up unit. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more in future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a like because it really helps other people see content like this, and it helps make sure that we can continue to make these videos. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.